Good morning, students. I am Rajini Kiranmai, lecturer in Computer Science Department, St. Joseph Degree College. Now, I am going to explain the subject called Database Management System. In this subject, initially we are going to discuss about Unit 1. In most of the computer subjects, we come across two different terms like data and information in an interchangeable manner. Now we are going to talk about what is data and what is the major difference that exists between data and information. When you look at the figure, data is nothing but the input that is going to be given to the information system, where in that the data undergoes processing or transformation. After that, it is going to be given out as an output, and we are going to call that output as an information. Sometimes this information is given back as an input to the information system, and hence we are going to term it as a feedback as an input to an information system. So this is what actually the relation that exists between data and information. Now I define what is data. So data is nothing but it is a collection of figures, facts and numbers which when considered as such doesn't have any meaning. In a simple way, we can define a data as a meaningless collection. Whereas an information is nothing but a processed data that has a meaning can be defined as an information, or in a simpler way, we can define information as a meaningful collection. Now let us focus what are the different factors that we are going to consider in order to differentiate data and information. Here we have presented with different factors of how to differentiate data from an information. The first factor I am going to talk about is the meaning, second is the format, third is based on, and fourth is the form, fifth one is useful, and sixth one is dependency. Coming to the factor of meaning, data as we have explained earlier, it represents a raw factor gathered about someone or a something which is bare and random, and that is the reason why we have defined the data as a meaningless collection. Coming to the information, the meaning of an information is nothing but it is the facts concerning a particular event or a subject which are refined by processing is called information. So in a simpler way, I can say the meaning of data is nothing but it is a bare or random facts gathered about someone or something. Whereas information meaning is these are also facts, but these facts are refined by processing the data, and hence we are going to term it as an information. Coming to the format, the data can be represented or the different formats that we are going to use to represent the data are text and numbers. Whereas the format that we are going to use to represent the information is nothing but the refined data. And we are going to collect the data based on the records and observations, whereas we are going to gain the information based on analysis. And hence we can also say the data forms are unorganized, whereas the forms of the information, that means the content of the information, are well organized. Coming to the sixth factor of usefulness, we can say the data may or may not be useful, whereas information is always useful. And the last factor which I wanted to represent the difference between the data and information is dependency. The data does not depend on information, whereas information completely depends upon the data. Why? Because without data, information cannot be processed. Now we move to the next level called database and database management system. So first let me define what is a database. Database is nothing but it is a place where we are going to collect the interrelated data about a one particular organization or one particular enterprise. So in a simple way, we can define a database as a repository of data or collection of data about one particular enterprise. And coming to database management system, we define the database management system or DBMS as database plus set of programs that access those data. And now I wanted to define what is database systems. So a system which is going to manage the database. So all such systems can be termed as database systems. Now coming to the meaning of what is managing the database. So managing includes, it should be in a position to define about the structure in which we are going to store our data. Along with that, it also should provide the manipulation mechanisms or access mechanisms in order to how to retrieve the data that have been stored in that defined structure. So this is the meaning of managing. So any system which manages the database, we can term all such systems as database systems. Now, why database management system? Why we prefer it? So I'm going to explain why it is so important of using a database management system is one, it is very secure. That means the data that we are going to store in the database will be very secured. And second advantage of DBMS, of using DBMS is it can handle many users and all the users are going to get their data with a good performance. And third advantage is it allows for concurrency while keeping data in a consistent state. That means though the data is allowed to be accessed simultaneously, yet it leaves the data in the database in a correct format. That means in a consistent state. And at the final point, I just wanted to say why DBMS is it protects from disasters. That means if you are using the database management system, your data is protected from the disasters. Because of some environmental disasters, we are not going to lose our data. Why? Because the DBMS is going to protect the data.